Tony Bennett has officially retired as the head coach of Virginia men's basketball. Shocking, somewhat shocking college basketball news. How surprised are you by this, Kyle?
When you sent it in chat today, I thought it was fake.
Yeah,
Especially
I
being
kind
two
of
weeks before the season. Like, what are we doing? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what led to this immediate timing. Everyone's speculating health issue, but maybe family health issue. I don't know. We don't have enough information to go on and speculate, but the timing of it is what was really surprising. I think it wasn't a bad year for Bennett to go out because I think this roster wasn't going to be good, and I don't think they probably would have made the field. At least last year, you can say as bad as they looked in the tournament, at least they made it, right? You go out with
Barely, yeah.
with a tourney bid. It's not the worst way for him to go out. I've seen coaches go out way worse, like a Bob Huggins. Um,
Well, yeah, that's
oh, no, even with the off the court stuff, like West Virginia wasn't good for like 2 to 3 years either. So I think it could be a lot worse. But at the same time, the timing of it is surprising.
yeah, very, very interesting timing. I'm definitely not like surprised he's stepping away from college basketball. Obviously, not someone who is a really fed into the NIL stuff. Virginia's not
Yeah.
necessarily have a ton there, so that didn't help
Oh.
the case, but definitely not necessarily his style and stuff. But like it, yeah, the timing is just what's just so weird because it's been reported there were no health issues involved in this, so it looks like it sound like
If the NIL thing was the reasoning, then why didn't he do it months ago? That's
that's
like
the thing. That's the thing because apparently he just like decided now, which is
maybe there
really
was some really
weird.
bad practices or something where guys weren't playing hard.
Yeah, he probably
Maybe it was like
saw
some of
like
his transfers that he got with NIL and they were really pissing him off. I don't know.
he might have saw like Dante Harris play basketball and like you know what like I'm out of here. Um, but the timing is weird, but just we can yeah it's crazy. There's a
We speculate all day.
press conference tomorrow where he will be addressing the situation and maybe then he will give maybe then we'll figure out what's next for the program. But just going back to what Bennett has done, he's had a phenomenal career as the head coach of Virginia, had a phenomenal 3 years at Washington State where he made the program's only Sweet 16 in the modern tournament era. Um,
I didn't
yeah.
really even know he was a coach at Washington State until you told me way back when. Like you put me on to his time there and how underrated it is. Like what he did
Hmm.
there. Basically what Kyle Smith did this year, but even better. Like they made a Sweet
Hmm.
16. Nobody ever had a history of at Washington State of doing anything even remotely close to that. Like
No.
being able to put a program like that on the map with all the issues they have with funding and fan alumni turnout. It's always been such a tough place to win in Pullman. I mean, the way he was able to do that, and then of course all of his great Virginia years. We've both been critical of him maybe the last year or two with, his play style. Still, can he still win that way? Yeah, but at the same time, like he's been, you know, a huge pillar in the sport of college basketball with the pack line
Hmm.
defense, with so much of his style. And yeah, like, he reminds me a lot of Jay Wright. He always has.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the similarities with walking away abruptly, although Wright's was more to better timing for the program. But yeah, I mean, Bennett, speaking about a program, he really turned Virginia around. A lot of people don't realize that Virginia's like not really that good of a job as it
It's
would
not.
seem, just because Bennett is so good. But yeah,
People
like
have
I
taken the
mean,
Virginia job for granted. They're going to
yes,
learn now that he's gone that this really isn't a good job. I really
no,
am worried about Virginia post Bennett, and we'll get into
yes.
that. But
Yes, but he absolutely got the most out of the job. Obviously, he won the national championship, but also had four number one seeds throughout his time there, nine top 10
Crazy.
defenses, a few number one defenses, as he's known for being a very elite defensive coach. Retires overall record 433 and 169. Yeah,
Jeez.
only 55 years old. So he definitely had a lot of years in the tank had he wanted it, but
Yeah.
he decided that it was time to walk away from coaching, which I mean, I understand with the NIL era.
It's very tough for coaches. I think we've talked about this before. Adapting to this time period, all the old figureheads have really struggled with it. I mean, I won't even say like half of them are willing to adapt to it, but it's still tough. Like,
Yeah. It's
making
not
the
like he was
adjustment.
like unwilling to adapt. It was just like
Right.
so different. Like he was having all these like NIL meetings and stuff. Like it
It's
was
just such an
something
uphill battle
just
with Virginia and NIL. Like,
mhm.
Virginia Tech, it has struggles from the same issue. Like, they don't have a lot of funding. Virginia's the same way, and Virginia's pretty hard to get into as well. Like, getting transfers at Virginia isn't even the easiest thing. So you add
Yeah.
recruiting, you add getting high quality transfers that usually require NIL, then you're really and competing in, a conference like the ACC that still does have good talent. Um, they're just not going to be able to, I think, continue to match the talent levels in the ACC as long as NIL is a mainstay.
Yes. But yeah, one last note on Tony Bennett just before we get to the start moving towards the future of Virginia. Just like, yeah, just like got to give it to him. Got to appreciate everything he's done. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
it was never fun. I mean, his watching Virginia was not necessarily the most fun thing, but like he's one of the he's consistently been one of the best college basketball coaches. So
Oh, yeah.
definitely have to give all props to him, wishing him well in the future with whatever he
There's
decides to
elements
do.
of, Virginia basketball that was fun to watch, admittedly. Like their
Yes. Like, oh
defense.
yeah, like the it
As a
wasn't
as a
I get what
Virginia
you're saying.
hater for years, like I can even admit that. Like there are elements of how textbook their defense is with just sliding their feet, with staying in
Yes. I
front
mean,
of
it
guys.
was
Like,
it was some matchful coaching, just definitely not the high-paced three-point shooting offense that is admittedly very fun to watch. But yeah, Virginia, they still won and can't really take away from that. So now Virginia goes into a new era. They don't have a coach yet, but I'm like 100% sure it'll be an interim guy, at least for this season. Maybe it'll be a full-time guy, but small note, players do technically have 30 days to enter the portal. Would they want to? No one would be eligible until like the winter semester. So,
right.
but
I was
still, like,
thinking like how the players are handling this. It just has to be gutting. Um, the thing about Virginia is every player that goes to Virginia goes there for Tony Bennett. They don't go there for the school. I mean, the academics are good, but like Tony Bennett is the driving force. And, now that he's gone 2 weeks before the season, like how are they going to hit the portal? I mean, I'd love to know what the locker room is right now.
yes, we will see. I don't really think anyone's going to enter the portal now.
Yeah.
I think it's more going to be like after the season.
Yeah. But you never
Um,
know. There's always a weird case with stuff like this. I remember the
yes,
Manhattan thing and the whole team hit the portal.
that is true. So we will see. But yeah, so looking at some potential candidates for the job, the two that we have to mention right away, because one of these two are going to be head coach this year, is Ron Sanchez or Jason Williford. So just talk about Sanchez first. A long time Tony Bennett guy, was with him at Washington State, was actually assistant under Dick Bennett at Washington State as well. So
Damn.
he's been with the family with Tony Bennett for a long time. I followed Bennett to Virginia when he got the job, and then um took the Charlotte job in 2018, I believe, was head coach there until 2023. This was his first year since then, the most recent year, not as the head coach here. He resigned in the offseason, another offseason resignation, although again, nothing like this timing. But yeah, he was he wasn't great at Charlotte. He wasn't terrible, but definitely not someone that inspires me to like be the guy at Virginia because of what he did at
Yeah, I
Charlotte.
mean, he's got so much Tony Bennett in him.
Yes, yes.
He really is a carbon copy.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, could you? At the same time, I don't know if Virginia could do any better than him. Like,
Well, not this year, but going forward, like
yeah, I guess maybe going forward you could do a little bit better, but like, I don't know if Virginia is going to be able to get like a Power 5 guy who wants this job. Like, that's going to be difficult. They might have to get a good mid-major hire who would want
yeah,
this job, and it's a clear step up for someone like that. Or if they're
yes.
able to get Greg Marshall out of the woods.
I don't think
I
that will be
doubt.
happening. That won't be happening. But I will say Charlotte did. I don't know if they were better than last year, but they had a much better conference record this year in the
True.
first year after Sanchez was gone.
It's true.
So
It's true. But
they
I think
definitely,
the people
yeah.
that are coaching Charlotte, I mean, weren't they like on his staff?
I mean, yeah, it was another. I mean, they had an internal hire there, so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. I mean, Sanchez definitely
I
left the
trust it. I think it's the
program,
best way to move forward for Virginia.
maybe,
At least
but
for the
we
time
can
being.
also
See how
talk about
this
some.
year
What
goes.
if I don't know if this has been thrown around yet, but what if like Tony Bennett like purposely retired this late so like no one outside like it's just like too late for even like some crazy situation. Anyone outside to take the job and he just like hands it off to Ron Sanchez. Like
That would be
like
interesting.
that like makes sense, right? Like
Does. They've been buddies for a long time.
yeah, like if he would I don't know. If he would have resigned in a normal time, like March or something,
That's a good point.
I don't know that the job wouldn't have opened.
Right.
And then the other name, obviously mentioned it a little bit ago, is Jason Wilford, another longtime Bennett guy, longtime Virginia guy. He's been with Bennett since his first year at Virginia. Been the associate head coach since 2017-18 season. And yeah, played at Virginia. Obviously, very familiar with the program as well. And he's the other guy. I don't really know what direction they're going to go because
No.
Wilford does not have the head coaching experience, obviously, which is the one knock, but he could have been had he wanted. Like I bet like he could be at like a like if he would have wanted to get a job, he would have done something like Ron
True. He
Sanchez,
he would have
but
been able to.
maybe has been just like waiting for the Virginia job. Um, and yeah, I mean, still another a little bit less to say about him because we don't know what he's like as a head coach, but
Right.
another guy that I mean, he's been with the program the whole time, did not take a gap there like Sanchez did. So, and anything to say about him? I mean, it's either this year, it's either going to be him or Sanchez.
Yeah, I think it's the obvious two choices.
Yes, I mean this year is going to be either him or Sanchez. Like, there's no really other
Right.
options. They're not hiring anyone else. But I mean, who would you rather go with between Wilford and Sanchez just for this
I
year?
go with Sanchez, the head coaching gig
Yeah,
experience. I think that's where you gotta go.
I would agree, and they would. I'd assume they would both still be on staff
Yeah,
either
yeah,
way. Um, but then the big question, because one of those guys is going to be the head coach this year, it's not really up for debate. But the big question is if it's an interim basis or a full-time basis. I'm guessing we will know more about this potentially in the press conference tomorrow
yeah.
morning.
That's
But just
true.
want to get this video out so we can speculate. That's always fun. Because I think that if a one of these guys is hired on an interim basis and like maybe like, oh, we'll see if they're good, they're gonna hire them. I
I
don't
think
think
that's the way
Virginia
to
will be
go.
good. I don't think Virginia will be good this season. So like if it's on an interim basis, I don't really think they're going to be coming back unless they do end up becoming good, obviously.
It'll depend where Virginia sets the bar for expectations, right? Are they expecting to be decent? Like if they're if I'm Virginia's AD, I'm not expecting them to finish better than bottom three or bottom five. Like considering the situation,
Yeah, but
considering
like,
the
yeah.
talent level, like their expectations should not be high right now if Bennett is stepping down, at least for the season. If they meet that expectation, I don't think it's a complete loss. Now, if they come in like act absolutely like last place or
Well,
second to
they're not going to
last,
be worse than like Boston College.
of course not. But still at the same time, um, if they're like neck and neck with BC or just above BC, maybe
I
that's
don't
like
know that they're going to be that bad. They're still going to
I
be
don't think so
good on
either.
defense, but they're
That's
not going to be
true.
good. But I don't think. And at least this I can feel confident saying they're not going to be good because there's not that like Tony Bennett factor. Now he still has all his guys in
Right.
the program, but I feel like I had them really low this season,
I did too. I
but now I
wasn't.
can like say
Some
that and like
people
be
were
like,
really in on
okay,
them this year for some reason, like top 30. I'm like, we're doing.
yeah, now people can realize this roster isn't good and hopefully come to the fact that like Tony Bennett isn't going to save them. But anyway,
A
moving
lot
to
had to go
other,
right.
yes, a lot. And
But with
moving
Tony Bennett, it could have
to,
happened. Like you never know, really.
yeah, maybe.
Now I don't think it's
I think the number one name is Ryan Odom.
hmm. Okay. See, I think it's Mike Jones. I think he is
Mm,
DMV connections. I think,
Virginia isn't even in like the DMV.
I mean, it is considered like, I mean, recruits don't go to Virginia from the DMV. That is a problem. But Mike Jones's connection to the Virginia area, he could be a guy. He's more connected to Virginia Tech's coaching staff, but he's definitely somebody who does know the area, and Virginia needs to start recruiting the DMV a little bit better. They do not recruit that area at all. That is an issue with both Virginia schools. They need to start really recruiting better. And Mike Jones is a good recruiter. He's been a very good recruiter for a while, on a couple of different coaching staffs. So,
Yes. Are you talking about the UNC Greensboro head coach or the
no,
Old
talking
Dominion
about
head
Old
coach?
Dominions, I think he could get poached. I don't know. We'll have to see how he does.
He hasn't. He also hasn't been a head coach yet.
Yeah, it could be
I
one of
think
those
it's. I
1 year
think it's
poaching
definitely
things.
Ryan Odom. If
Well,
it's,
yeah, it
I
could be.
would 100% bet on Ryan Odom because he's not a Tony Bennett, part of Tony Bennett coaching tree, but he has ties within the program. His dad was an assistant there. He's obviously a
That's
Virginia
true.
guy. Still, I mean, it'd be funny because obviously he led them to the win over Virginia when he was at UMBC.
That would be really
But
funny.
and I mean he's won. So
He wins anywhere he goes. Yeah,
yes, and I think it would be a good move to go if they do indeed
they
decide
could
to
do, they could do
move.
a lot worse than Ryan Odom. Yeah, Ryan
Could they
Odom.
do better?
I don't know. I don't know if they could do better than Ryan Odom. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not a good job. Like
But like
Ryan
it's
Odom
still
would
good
take.
enough. Like it's still good enough that it's
I
better
mean,
than any min.
they have no fun. Like, there's mid majors that have more NIL than them. There are. Like St. Louis, I think does.
Maybe St.
I mean,
Louis.
there are some high points getting close. Like,
Okay, well, like, yeah, but like, you're not gonna lose recruits to High Point. Like, even though they have more money,
no,
like,
but
you're still gonna
they're
get
not gonna
guys.
get like recruits over anybody in the ACC except like
Well,
Boston
I
College.
that's maybe a little harsh. You're still getting. They're
Well, yeah,
not
they were
like
getting recruits because of Tony Bennett.
they're like not in a good situation, but I think you might be overestimating
I
like
might
how
be, but
bad it is.
I don't know. I could see this playing out similar to the Butler situation
It would
post
be a
Brad
better it
Stevens.
would be a better job than VCU for Ryan Odom,
It would be. Oh, 100. It's a step
and
up for him.
VCU was one of the top mid major jobs.
It is. It's a step up for him, but if any Power Five guy would want to take this job, it's likely step down, like for most Power
I
Fives.
mean, I think it's
Most.
about even on like
Or
it's
even.
about like
You want to say even, you can.
yeah, yeah. But I think Ryan Odom would be my number one candidate. It's because yeah, Virginia guy, he can win, has
Yeah.
connections with the program. So the other guy, I there's not a ton of like other guys out there like
Yeah.
because
Chris
Tony
Mack,
Bennett's
maybe?
no, I would hey, the other guy would be Richie McKay because he's been
Oh,
with Bennett for a while. But I don't see it happening really.
he is on that tree. That's right.
Yeah, like he because the tree is like so small because Bennett just like kept his assistants
Right.
forever.
Yeah, you
Like
just
Wilford
gate
has been
kept
his
him.
guy for forever.
That's the
Like
thing
there's
about
no
Tony
tree
Bennett
to go
guys.
off
They've been
there.
so loyal. They don't leave. So that's the thing. He has a very small tree, like you said.
Yeah, so McKay's really like the only guy who's like gone elsewhere. And I mean, he has had a very solid tenure at Liberty. He's been around for a while. I mean, like before that, he coached at like New
I think
Mexico and
Ryan Odom's
stuff.
probably a little bit better than him.
Yeah, for sure. But like McKay's the other guy, you have to somewhat
I
consider
think you got to
maybe
put him on there. Yeah,
because like I mean, he was ahead of Sanchez and
sure.
Williford because he took the another job before them, but also
Hmm.
he's less familiar with the program. Now, we will see. I don't think like I guess yeah, you can throw in some other like fun names like who'd you say again? Like Chris
Mike
Mack.
Jones,
My
Chris Mack.
I don't unless like Old Dominion's like crazy good this year, I don't think they even
Yeah,
really
probably.
bother. Um like Bucky McMillan, I saw his name mentioned in an article. I mean that could be like just like a fun hire. It would definitely be a complete opposite shift for Virginia's style of play, but
Yeah,
um I wouldn't be opposed to that if it came down to it.
I think it's
I don't
still a
see it. I
step
don't
up
see
for
it.
Bucky.
Yes, it's a huge step up, but I don't like I think it'll be one of the guys we already mentioned. Maybe
Sure.
like Mitch Henderson, like just like some like fun and major guys like that.
Could
Um,
be Bob Ritchie or I don't know.
yeah, like something like that. I guess
Some
yeah,
gimmicky SoCon coach, you know.
yeah. Think like Russ Turner's from Virginia, like,
Ah,
but I don't really see that happening, but like that be like kind of type of guy. I don't know. I
I have
think it
no
should
idea.
be Odom. I
But
think they
Odom's
should,
probably the leader in the clubhouse. I would agree
but
now.
they might just go with one of. I just don't think going with
It's a
one
big
of the
decision, you know.
assistants is the right move. But like, I kind of think that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Virginia's a very conservative program when it comes to these things. They're not like aggressive, and going off the beaten chain here. I don't really see that. I'm a little worried.
Okay, I do have one other name to throw out, and this is not serious, but I just have to throw out Dave Later out there because of what DePaul did. I made a note to myself that I would have to mention his name during the podcast because DePaul hired him a second time and that went terrible. Now the first time at Virginia went terrible for Leto, but I just like there's a 0.000% chance it's happening. I'm not inferring that there's like even a glimmer of hope for them to do that, but like that would they should totally do that. Like that would I mean that would kill the program, but like that would be so funny.
Kevin Ollie, Kevin Ollie, and Dave Lightow coaching
Yeah.
staff.
At the overtime
They're
league. I don't even
I'm about to
know where
say.
Dave Lato is. He's still
I
I
think
don't know what he's doing. I
Lighthouse
don't
has
really
been moving
care what he's
around,
doing.
man. He's been a busy man.
Is he might yeah, he's the
I
head
don't think
coach
he's
of
with the
the
OT
he's head
anymore.
coach of the City Reapers at for the overtime elite.
Ugh. Basically, just roll the balls out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was not serious. As I mentioned, I just had to throw it in because of what DePaul did with him.
And he
Um,
was the last coach of Virginia.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, kind of
People forget that.
DePaul to Virginia to DePaul to Virginia. I kind of rock with that.
Oh, somebody they can mention, John Gross. He used to coach at Virginia, right? He way back when, Illinois, the Akron coach.
I know what you're talking about. I'm not.
I
Was
remember doing
he?
research about him last year, and he did have a
Let
tenure at Virginia.
me fact. I know he wasn't never head coach there, but let me fact check if he was ever.
I
Doesn't
believe.
appear so. You might be making that up. He was
Maybe
at
I'm
NC
confusing with
State.
someone
Maybe that's what
else.
you're thinking of as an assistant.
Oh,
He was at like Xavier
I'm thinking of
Butler.
someone else. Shoot. It was a guy who was at Illinois, Virginia. Uh, I
I
don't know.
don't know. I don't. I mean, I don't really think there's many other coaches that have like been at Virginia or an assistant. Yeah, I don't know. Um, Anything else though? Or I guess
Did I think?
maybe wait while you
Fact checking
investigate.
yourself.
Yeah, it was not. It
No,
was
yeah,
not
it
John.
wasn't. He was on Illinois. It was never Virginia, though. I must be confusing.
Maybe it just yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of different directions to go in. So, now they better choose the right one, and the right one would be hiring Ryan Odom. No, I definitely agree. Now that you brought him up, kind of blanked on him,
Yes.
um, but at the same time, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna just hire Sanchez full time. To
I
be
kind
honest,
of think that because like
I just know Virginia is a program. Like
I
their
kind of am buying
AD,
my suspicions that Bennett just like maybe what if
that could
Bennett
have
just like
happened.
planned to resign late and then like oh like there's only 20
Him
days
and
left in the
Sanchez
off
have been best
season.
buddies. Like Sanchez coached under his father. I mean,
Yes.
as an assistant, I mean those roots have to be deep.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
oh, I could
I mean,
easily see
yeah.
what you're saying. It makes a
Which
lot
like
of
I don't
sense.
think is like if they want to continue like the Virginia brand, I think
I
that's
don't
the way
hate
to
that.
go.
No, Sanchez is
Although,
not the worst way to go. The issue is the recruiting, the NIL and the recruiting. Now you go from Tony Bennett, who was the brand, to Sanchez. I guess you could promote, we're still the Virginia brand, but you don't have the
but like
face.
recruits don't want to hear that. Recruits don't want to hear
They don't
that.
want to hear that.
That's the
Like
thing. Like
the
Tony Bennett
face,
was like telling their guys, like telling like recruits recently, like, "Oh, we're gonna play fast now." And then Tony Bennett had to resign before he actually had to like realize he had to live up to that because he could never stand that.
that's so funny. We're gonna play fast now, guys.
Yeah, he.
He was desperate, man. I can't blame him though. You gotta find a way to get guys in.
I don't know. And anything else before we wrap this up?
Oh, it's a really tricky situation.
Yes.
Virginia is skating on thin ice. For sure. You really don't want to screw this up.
No, you do not. And yeah, I don't have a ton of hope for the future program, but we'll see. We'll see. This year will be very telling of what they're
It
gonna
will
do.
be. That's why they should go the interim route, see how he does, go from there. Don't make him full
Yes,
time.
yes, because if he's good, then you can make him full time.
Right. Don't make him full time right away. That would be.
Yes. But we'll see. We'll see. These questions will maybe be answered tomorrow at the press conference. Maybe not. Hopefully it's interim. It's kind of what I'm hoping, but I don't know. We do not have all the answers when it comes to this. So appreciate everyone for tuning in, kind of a break in our normally scheduled programming. If anyone's new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. We're currently in the middle of our conference preview series, previewing all 31 conferences in college basketball D1 for this upcoming season. Yeah, post notifications will get you updated on all of those. Make sure to like, follow us on Instagram at Hoopscoop Media and Twitter/X, the same handle at Hoopscoop Media. And yeah, we will see you, I guess, for next conference preview. And case any unless anything else crazy happens, like what could cause another one of these emergency meetings?
That's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of these old coaches, I think a lot of them are going to start stepping down soon. Now,
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be like
Ideally,
this
ideally not at
next
this
year.
time, no. Although it makes for some fun content.
Yeah. I think within the next 5 years, we're going to see another pillar
Who's
coach
even left
retire.
though? Who's even left?
I mean, you got
Mark Few, I
Izzo.
guess.
You got Izzo. You got
Izzo,
Few,
Mark Few.
Bill Self. Um,
Yeah.
I think one of those three could definitely, in the next five
In the next
years.
five, they could be. I think they're all going to be gone in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it
Maybe.
could be the
I think five
case.
years is like kind of like I would definitely say like if you said 1 year, I'm like maybe. Like 5 years is like yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them will be gone in 5 years.
That's true. I mean, I guess few wants to chase that national title. It's a really good
He's gonna
chance
get
for
it this year.
that.
He's gonna get it this
I'm
year.
telling you,
He's
he's a
gonna get it
great
this
shot
year.
at it this
He's
year.
gonna get it this
If
year.
if they fail this year though, like yeah, that could be if things crash and burn. It could, yeah.
I mean, I feel
I'd
very
give few
confident
another
that
year after
nothing is
this.
gonna crash and burn at Gonzaga. They make
Right,
the
no.
Sweet 16 every year, but
Exactly. Nothing
yeah,
ever crashes and burns there, but
no.
there's not
Things
many
could crash and
pillars,
burn at Virginia this year, though. We will see. And yeah,
not
make
many
sure
pillars
to
left.
it's a new era. But yeah,
Yes.
appreciate everyone for tuning in. And yeah, next conference preview, we will see you then.